The first thing that comes to a future tourist's mind when they hear the word Canada is magnificent mountain resorts. Travelers are attracted by Canada's natural attractions such as national parks, which combine natural beauty with high-quality tourism services. Trips here are always exciting. They promise many vivid impressions and unexplored secrets. Let's check out 10 best places to visit in Canada. Number 11. Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is included in the list of natural attractions in Canada. In addition, it is considered one of the wonders of the world. The waterfall is located on the border of Canada and America. With a terrifying roar, tons of water streams powerfully fall every second. The waterfall is located in a dense cloud of spray since the water pressure here is quite strong. Translated, Niagara means rumbling water. This is fully true, since a gigantic stream of water falls from a 50-meter height. Millions of travelers flock here to see this unique natural phenomenon with their own eyes. The waterfall is part of a complex of 3 streams: American, Bridal Veil, and Niagara. Canada owns only Niagara Falls. The composition, which was created by nature itself, stretches for almost a kilometer. The grandeur of this unique phenomenon is worth seeing at least once in your life. Number 10. Great Lakes. The group of freshwater lakes includes Superior, Huron, Michigan, Erie, and Ontario. The last ice age is considered to be the time when the lakes were formed. Scientists suggest that they arose due to the pressure of the glacier on the Earth's crust. During the process of glaciostasticity, sinking and rising of land, the lakes gradually filled with water, which was a direct consequence of the melting of ice. The Great Lakes are Canada's natural attractions. They are the largest reservoir of fresh water on Earth. Interestingly, water in lakes moves from one to another according to the principle of communicating vessels. The fact is that the lakes are connected by rivers. The basin area is 768,000 square kilometers and the volume of water is 22,671 cubic kilometers. The deepest lake is Superior, the shallowest is St. Clair. The government protects this unique natural ensemble. In particular, large sums are allocated annually for wastewater treatment plants. All 5 lakes are navigable. In addition, they are a holiday destination for thousands of tourists. Number 9. Chateau Frontenac. The castle is included in the list of national landmarks of Canada. The authorship of the project belongs to the American architect Bruce Price. The architecture of the Castle Hotel corresponds to the style of a medieval castle. The grand opening took place in 1893, but it continued to be completed and increased in volume. Architect William Sutherland Maxwell designed the central tower, which made the castle look more impressive. Construction work was finally completed in 1996. Tourists will be interested to know that the Quebec Conference took place here in 1943. At this time, Franklin Roosevelt and Winston Churchill stayed at the hotel. The Castle Hotel is located on a hill. It is built on the banks of the St. Lawrence River. Cape Diamond, on which the hotel stands, is quite high, so from the windows of the castle you can admire the surrounding area and magnificent panoramic views. The current owner of the hotel is Ivanhoe Cambridge Corporation. Its administration immediately began restoration work immediately after the conclusion of the purchase and sale agreement in 2011. $75 million was allocated for restoration. Number 8. Thousand Islands. Still haven't decided what to see in Canada? This means that the Thousand Islands Park will be a real discovery for you. It is located between the cities of Brockville and Kingston. The 2,000 square kilometer stretch of water contains many islands. The name of the park, Thousand Islands, is arbitrary. It is impossible to accurately calculate their number, especially small ones, which sometimes disappear completely underwater. The islands have different sizes. There is an island the size of a football field. Others are tens of times larger. The islands are formed on the basis of a mountain system. Over time, it was worn away by the winds and polished by the waters of the glacier. The 2 largest islands are Wolf and Hut. The islands are a real paradise for tourists. First of all, it is a very beautiful natural attraction. You don't have to look long for what to see in Canada. The Thousand Islands Park is a must-see on your trip. Excursion programs are constantly held here. The flora and fauna of the islands leaves an unforgettable impression. Interestingly, some islands are inhabited. Comfortable cottages are built on them, and living in them is considered prestigious. At the same time, cottages are provided with electricity using environmentally friendly energy sources. Number 7. Banff National Park, Canada's first park, was established in Alberta in 1885. It is located 100 kilometers from Calgary and is Canada's largest natural attraction. Hotels and restaurants in the park are completely subordinated to the tourism business. Hotel room rates vary depending on the season, but in any case, tourists are guaranteed a vivid impression. And the glacial Lake Moraine, located in the park, can safely be included in the ranking of the most beautiful natural places on our planet. The most favorite activities for travelers are gondola rides and golf. It is in the park that the famous Fairmont Banff Springs golf course is located. It was designed by Canadian architect Stanley Thompson. There are many sulfur springs here. Hot springs can improve your health in a short time. In addition, tourists are invited to visit the Canadian bathhouse. Founded back in 1887, animals live freely in the park and can be observed in their natural habitat. In particular, you can meet bears and pumas in the park. It is absolutely forbidden to approach them. It is better to look at the animals through binoculars. Each tourist is given a set of rules that must be followed when encountering wild animals. Finally, Banff Park offers high-quality ski service. The skiing and snowboarding trails here are some of the best in the world. Number 6. National Gallery of Canada. The capital of Canada, of course, cannot do without historically significant attractions. One striking example of this is the country's leading art museum, the Canadian National Gallery in the heart of Ottawa. The gallery itself was founded in 1880 and previously occupied the Houses of Parliament. But over time, the collection began to actively expand. More space was needed, and the gallery repeatedly moved from place to place for decades, until the decision was made to erect its own building. Today in the museum, you can see 6 permanent exhibitions located onto floors. And you can relax here in the restaurant, whose large windows offer wonderful views of Parliament and the Ottawa River. Number 5. Bay of Fundy. The bay is a fantastically beautiful place. Its highlight was the huge red stones covered with bright greenery. The bay is also known for its highest tide levels. It reaches the 17-meter mark. Tourists are always shocked by this information. In 12 hours, over 100 million tons of water approach and leave the shore. No wonder the bay stones are so smooth and polished. The bay is one of those attractions that you should definitely visit in Canada. Moreover, it is recommended to visit it twice a day, before and after high tide. This will provide an opportunity to see a unique phenomenon in its entirety. This feature, fast and powerful tide, is used in the tourism business. A special attraction offered here is boating at high tide. The feeling is indescribable for those who are within the bay. The water rises literally in minutes, and those who are in the boats feel as if they are rising higher and higher on some incredible attraction. Number 4. Casa Loma Castle. Toronto, Canada is a major metropolis of the country and its industrial center. In the city, ultra-modern buildings coexist next to historical buildings. For example, in the city, you can visit the Royal Museum, whose creative building resembles a huge crystal made of glass and metal, and here you can also see the exquisite neo-Gothic castle of Casa Loma. The original mansion was built at the beginning of the last century for a wealthy entrepreneur who later sold these luxurious apartments due to the impossibility of maintaining them. Later, a hotel operated in the building, and then the castle began to serve as a landmark with beautiful architecture. Number 3. Montmorency Falls. You can immerse yourself in the atmosphere of centuries-old antiquity and understand the unique history of the country by visiting ancient towers, museums, galleries, and other historical attractions of Canada. The presentation of the country, however, would not be complete without mentioning the beautiful natural creations. One of the most striking examples is the Montmorency Falls, a huge foamy stream of water falls in a continuous 84-meter wall into the Montmorency River, which, after a short journey, flows into the St. Lawrence River. There is a suspension bridge over the waterfall from which you can see the skyline of Quebec City and the Isle of Orleans. There are also several other areas around the waterfall, allowing you to look at it from different angles. Number 2. Canadian Parliament Building. The architectural complex where working meetings of the Canadian government are held looks like a medieval castle from the outside. It is located in a convenient location for travelers in the heart of Ottawa. The gray stone from which the building is built seems gloomy at first glance. However, The overall composition of the building is so precise and accurate that the complex inspires involuntary respect. It seems that the architects who built the complex in 1860 were fanatically devoted to the idea of symmetry in architecture. The pointed towers are located strictly symmetrically with respect to the central column on which the clock runs, visible from everywhere. The strength of the building is evidenced by the fact that the gray stone is also covered with copper plates. However, in 1916, the building did not survive a devastating fire. Reconstruction work was carried out in an organized manner, but it dragged on until 1922. The events of the First World War are reflected in the overall composition of the complex. The Peace Tower, which is the central part of the building, is dedicated to the memory of Canadians who died on the fronts of the First World War. The main hall in which meetings are held is named according to the number of parliamentarians. It is called the Hall of the Confederation or the Hall of the 200. The symbol of Canadian unity is an eternal flame surrounded by the coats of arms of all provinces. The composition with the eternal flame is located on Parliament Square. The Parliament building opens the list of attractions in Canada. It is included in almost all excursion and tourist routes. Number 1. Rocky Mountains. In the North American Cordillera system, a mountain range stands out. The Rocky Mountains, which have the status of both a USA landmark and a Canadian landmark due to their border location at the junction of two states. It is on the territory of this massif that two of Canada's most famous national parks are located, Jasper and Banff Park. The Rocky Mountains are truly replete with magically beautiful lakes. Among them is the Alpine Pato Lake with its bright blue-white waters. When the glaciers that feed the lake melt, its waters become saturated with glacial flour. This tiny sand, formed from the grinding of stones by descending glaciers, ends up in the lake waters, giving them an incredible hue.